Hippocampus that's still rewriting memory. They can't stop it, asterisk, 815 words, in the file at /tmp/script/hippocampus, txt. In the summer of 2000, a neuroscientist named Karim Nader erased a fear memory from a living brain with a single injection, and neuroscientists still cannot explain why the same glitch is rewriting memories inside your hippocampus right now. Nader was working in Joseph Ledoux's lab at New York University. The experiment was simple on paper. Train a rat to fear a tone by pairing it with a mild shock. Wait 2 weeks. Let the fear memory settle into long-term storage, the way scientists had assumed memories always settled once, and permanently deep inside the hippocampus and its neighboring circuits. Then play the tone again just to trigger the memory. Right after that, inject a drug called anisomycin, which blocks the brain from building new proteins. By every existing model of memory, this should have done nothing. The memory was already stored. It was old. It was supposedly finished. It wasn't. The rats forgot. Not gradually, completely. A fear response that had been rock solid for 2 weeks vanished the moment it was recalled and interrupted mid-recall. Nader hadn't stopped a memory from forming. He'd caught one already built, mid-rebuild, and stopped the rebuilding. The implication was almost too strange to publish. The hippocampus doesn't file a memory away once and leave it alone. Every time it's pulled back into awareness, it becomes chemically unstable again and has to be physically rewritten from scratch just to be kept. The textbook model before Nader's experiment treated the hippocampus like a hard drive. Encode once, write once, store forever, retrieve without altering the file. That model explained patients like Henry Molaison, the amnesiac patient known for decades only as HM, whose hippocampus was removed in 1953 and who could never form new long-term memories again, proof, it seemed, that the hippocampus was a one-way gate. Information went in, got written down elsewhere, and stayed. Recall was supposed to be a read-only operation, like opening a file without editing it. Under that model, playing the tone to a rat should have been harmless. The memory was already saved. That's exactly what broke. Reconsolidation, the process Nader's experiment revealed, means a consolidated memory doesn't stay locked once it's formed. The instant it's reactivated, it drops back into a labile, editable state and has to resynthesize new proteins within a window of just a few hours to remain intact. Block that resynthesis and the memory doesn't get corrupted, it gets erased, as though it had never been written at all. And this wasn't a quirk isolated to one lab's rats. By 2008, researchers at McGill were testing the same window in people. Car crash survivors and assault victims with PTSD were asked to read a script of their own trauma out loud, then given propranolol, a blood pressure drug, while the memory sat open and unstable. Weeks later, the facts hadn't changed. They could still describe exactly what happened. But the fear response, the racing heart, the sweat, the flinch, had measurably dulled, sometimes for good, as though the emotional charge had been quietly rewritten out of the file while the content stayed intact. Nobody fully knows how a memory can be split apart like that. Content in one drawer and feeling in another, edited separately during the same few unstable hours. That's the same reopened window Nader first caught in his rats back in 2000, just running now in a human hippocampus, on purpose, in a hospital. Researchers have spent 2 decades since trying to explain why the brain works this way, and none of the theories fully hold. One says it's adaptive, memories update with new context, so reconsolidation lets old fears be corrected by safer information. But that can't explain why some memories reconsolidate easily while others resist it completely, refusing to shift no matter how often they're reactivated. Another says it's just a byproduct of ordinary synaptic maintenance, an accidental side effect with no purpose at all. But that fails to explain why the instability is so precisely timed, and why blocking it erases memory outright instead of just weakening it. A third camp argues reconsolidation isn't universal, that very old or heavily rehearsed memories eventually stop needing it. Nobody can say with certainty which memories that applies to, or predict it before testing it directly on a living brain. What nobody disputes is this: somewhere in your skull, right now, memories you consider fixed and settled are not settled at all. They are waiting for the next time you think about them, at which point they will briefly come apart before your brain decides what to write back into their place. Nobody in neuroscience can yet tell you what determines what gets kept, what gets quietly altered, and what disappears in that window, only that it's happening every time you remember anything and it has never once stopped.